I realized that business is actually the exchange of value. When you give value, value automatically comes back to you, will come back to you. Now, this value will come, or sometimes comes in the form of money, and that's business. So you're giving value, you're offering a product or a service, and then you get paid for it. So you're exchanging value for value. I saw that right from
early,
when I was 6 years old.
How did you start? How did you even bear the idea even way back in school?
Say you're a leader of tomorrow. But then I would look at those people, they told us that when we were in there. We were 10,
20, 30, 40, and they're still there.
So yes, I had a lot of energy and I wanted to do things a certain way, and I was rude here and I was doing that. Eventually, I was fired.
Were you able to use any of your knowledge in promoting your business?
It's so complicated because I'm such a multifaceted person. I mean, we started in England. Good Hair started in England. We eventually had to open something in Nigeria.
All hair is processed. You cannot take hair from a donor and put it into your head.
Once you're a public figure, you become a target.
Look at all the companies we started. We have board members from Nigeria, but also from around the world, because we want to build world-class companies that outlive us.
Welcome to Omon's Couch, an entrepreneurship and career talk show where we help young entrepreneurs and professionals reach their full potential. My name is Omon Odike, your darling host, and I'll be bringing you amazing guests who have seen it all to educate and inspire you with their stories. Our guest today is a visionary entrepreneur and CEO of Lery Hago, a premier luxury travel company specializing in crafting personalized experience. She's none other than Omolere Oiku. Let's welcome her to Omon's Couch. How are you, Omolere? How have you been?
Very well, thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here as well.
That's really wonderful. In fact, I've been watching your journey and I've been following you on Instagram and all your posts online. And it seems to be a very exciting journey for you, especially being in the travels and tour industry. It's really, really interesting. So happy to have Lery here today. I'm sure those of you who have businesses where you have tourism, you have travel agencies, or you create travel experiences for your different customers. She's here as an expert in her field with her 6 years, and she's doing extremely well. And I'm sure she's going to share her story. So Omolere, tell us, how did you start this business called Lery Hago?
All right, thank you very much. Again, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm happy to share my journey.
Yeah.
So first, I'll say my entrepreneurial journey started as far back as when I was 10 years old. It's
interesting.
It's so surreal, right? I started with selling chin-chin.
Oh, selling chin-chin.
Yeah, I made and sold chin-chin because I had an auntie who was then living with us, and she learned and she taught me. And then when she moved on to her own house, I just continued because people were asking for it. And then that moved on.
And you're making money?
Yes, I was making money. I was in secondary school then, year 1 in secondary school.
Yeah, that's definitely at 10.
Yes. So that was where my entrepreneurial journey started. And ever since then, progressively up till university and after school, I always did not want to have one source of income. I always wanted different sources of income. So while I was
as young as you were, you already had that feeling. Was there something in your background that influenced that for you?
In my background, I would say yes. My primary school, the school I attended. So every time after exams in school, so there's this period, like a 1 week, 2 week period where the students have finished exams, and then the teachers are probably collecting results and also everybody's just playing around and all. In my own school, and especially in my class, our teachers will say, okay, bring empty containers, empty Milo container, empty milk packets, empty cornflakes packets. We were going to sell.
Okay.
So we got to school, arranged them on a table, and then made paper money, colored it,
Oh,
labeled
okay.
it, and then there
Just
is a
make
shop
believe,
owner.
yes.
Yes, so there's a shop owner, and then there are people coming in to buy, and then we just exchange
That's role play,
roles,
yeah,
role play.
yeah.
And it was so good because from that I learned about money exchange.
Very
from that,
early.
I learned about business. From that, I also, there was also mathematics involved in that, which I loved. So business is just something I've always loved to do. And going further in life, I realized that business is actually the exchange of value. When you give value, value automatically comes back to you,
yes.
will come back to you. Now, this value will come, or sometimes comes in the form of money, and that's business. So you're giving value, you're offering a product or a service,
yes.
and then you get paid for it. So you're exchanging value for value. I
That's
saw that
very
right from
early.
when I was 6 years old. I saw that when you give value, you get value.
You're obviously a brain, and obviously an EFICO, if I may call that. I mean, for you to have made a first class in accounting and turn into, a full-time chartered accountant, and you're now practicing in Pisa Cousin for a while.
Yeah.
So why would you leave such a wonderful, beautiful career to start the entrepreneurial journey? What was that pivotal moment that changed the game for you?
All right, thank you. So after school, I served, I did my NYSC, but within that time, I always, I didn't just want to sit in one place, right? So I always wanted to learn something new. So I learned how to make beads. So I learned how to make jewelry, and I sold that for a while, up until 2014 or 2015, I sold beads. And then in 2012, when I started my career at PZ, I was actually interviewed for a sales role, which I loved because I like selling.
Yeah.
Right, so I love that. However, after my successful interview, they now realized, oh, you actually are the first class in accounting.
Okay.
And we have vacancies in the finance department.
Wow.
So we're going to move you to the finance department.
Were you happy about that?
I was indifferent, actually.
Yeah.
I was okay with it
Yeah.
because I liked accounting anyway.
Okay, how did you feel when they moved you into the accounting department?
Okay, I was fine with it actually because accounting is something I like also, right? So I was fine with it, and that was my first job.
Experience
so
after
that was my
school.
Yes, my first experience after school. So I'm like, okay, let's give it a try, right? And so I did that for 4 years. But within that time, I felt like the job was monotonous. And accounting is something you just do the same thing. You're reconciling bank statements, preparing financial statements. It's the same thing every day. But with sales, every day is different.
Something different, yeah.
Right? And that's also the same thing that drew me to business, because in business, every day is different, right? The challenges or the opportunities you get today is different from, what you see tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why I knew that I really actually still want to do business in full. While I was working, however, I always had things I was doing by the side. So I've sold different products. I've sold air. I still have an air company.
Airline.
Yes, I have an airline actually.
So you need to speak to me because I saw beauty. I saw a beauty brand. You did your clothing. I think even the makeup or something around
so
that.
in the beauty, there is the airline. I have an airline, Weaves by Lery, where I sell.
Even now?
Yes, even now. Though I had paused it for a while.
Is this your hair?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it is
lovely.
Thank you. So I paused it for a while in 2022 because I just had a baby, my third boy, and I was overwhelmed. So I just paused it for a while, but it's something I'm going to start up soon again.
Okay, so you're a serial entrepreneur, if you ask.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Please explain to me. Tell us about your serial entrepreneurship, because aside from the travel company that you run, which co-founded, I believe, with your husband.
Yes.
You also run the beauty part. Which other part? What made you start up all this businesses?
So for me, I have many interests. And when opportunities come, I like to take them. Many times I start businesses from a need. So somebody has a need, and then they reach out to me and say, oh, I have this. Okay. I need this particular thing. Can you help me get it? So for instance, earlier on, after school, people were just always reaching out to me. When I started working, my colleagues would reach out and say, oh, I need to get a cake. I need to do this. I need to do that. Can you help me get a good deal? And I was one to get good deals. I loved getting good deals. I know how to negotiate.
So you know how to negotiate?
Yes, I know how to negotiate. So people would always just reach out to me to say, hey, I want to get I want to get this for my birthday. Can you help me just organize it? And then I will do that. So sometimes I will just venture into that. So for instance, the hair came as an opportunity. I wasn't sure because before that I was not a hair person. So I wasn't sure, will people buy hair and all? And then one of my colleagues, an Indian, who was, who had brought it in. I said, oh, help me market this and all. And I said, okay, let me try it. And then I put it on my BBM status. Back then. I put it and I put the picture. I got pictures from him, put it on my BBM status then. And in less than 5 minutes, I was getting pum, 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 pum.
People asking,
oh, what's this? How much is this? Can I get this? I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So people want this. And then that's how the hair journey started.
So you never really check, you never do like an analysis, a business plan, or even look at the viability of that business before you go into it?
So that was the viability test.
Oh, for you?
Yes, for me, that was the viability test. I prefer practical to theoretical. So when you're telling me, oh, do a feasibility study. Oh, yes, we will do that. But for me, it's more practical when
to test.
People are asking me for it. For instance, before I started selling beads, for instance, I was wondering, will people buy this? This was my 20-year-old self. I just finished school. Are people going to buy beads, right? So one day after church.
When you talk about beads, are you talking about those
jewelry,
fancy jewelry?
Yes, those fancy jewelry, beads, wired jewelry and all. So one day after church, I just said, okay, no, let me test this. I stood by the entrance and I said, let me see how many people are wearing this type of thing that I want to start making and selling. And 9 out of 10 people wear.
Are you serious?
And it was just a no-brainer.
I guess it was a time where that big thing was really
yes,
raining,
it was very
it has actually
common.
Died down now.
Yes. So when I saw that, okay, a lot of people are wearing it, I started learning. Because another thing is I will not venture into something without getting the adequate knowledge for it. And the knowledge will come from formal trainings, informal trainings, research online, like nights and days of research, that I spend on research. So I'll always do that before I venture. And even while I venture, I always believe in starting. Just start. Just start.
Beautiful.
So I don't overthink. I don't think, okay, I'm not good. I have to have a PhD in this before I start. No, as an amateur, I will start.
Entrepreneurial spirit that you have.
Thank you. And as an amateur, I will start, and then as I start, I keep learning. So when I started selling hair, I didn't know a lot about it. But when I started learning, okay, these are the different textures, these are the different lengths, these are the different, this is how to know this is how to style, and it just kept progressing from there.
Interestingly, I noticed that you have formed the Lery Hago company with your husband, co-founded.
Yes.
And it's doing extremely well, at least from my own perspective, knowing that you're new in the industry and you're actually gaining good market share. So how did you start curating holidays, the tourist attraction? What makes your own business different? Because there's obviously a spice to it from what I see.
Right, thank you. So Lery Hago started as Lery B Travels. And it started as a side also, right?
For who?
For me.
Okay.
It started as a side also. So I was working, and then again, a colleague met up with me and said, hey, Omo, my family wants to travel. We're a family of 9. Can you get me something? Can you get me a good deal to travel
just
to
more
Dubai?
like a fixer then.
Yes. So I said, okay, sure. And then, I curated that for them. They traveled, they had a good time. And then after that, I was just doing it once in a while. And then in 2018, I decided, okay, all along I've not been marketing it and I've been getting requests. So now we're going to fully
make it a business.
Yes, we're going to make it fully a business. So then it was still Lery B Travels. Lery from my first name, B from my middle name.
Okay.
And that just started. And then we transitioned to Lery Hago in 2021.
Okay.
Because in 2021, we came to the realization that now it's not just a local company. We're a global brand. And if we say we're a global brand, we have to position ourselves as a global brand. And this starts from the name.
Okay.
Right? So moved, we transitioned from
So
Lery
what's
to
the
Lery Hago.
Hago? What's about the name that you think it's now an international brand? What makes it an international brand?
Okay, so Hago is actually from my maiden name.
Okay.
So my maiden name is Oga, and Hago is just the reverse. So in the process of, so again now, while coming up with that name, it wasn't with
You wanted
the,
something catchy or something.
yes, something catchy, but then it wasn't even with the notion of, oh, it's an international brand or something. But at the point where we're transitioning, we knew that, oh, this definitely sounds
Nice.
different. It
Yes.
sounds international. It sounds different. And then so we're discussing it with a few of our friends, and then one
Just
of
getting their buy-in.
yes, and then one of our friends, one of my husband's friends, said, "Oh, Hago." I'm like, "Okay, what's Hago?" And he said, "Oh, the reverse of your
name.
surname." I'm like, "Oh, great!" And we went
And
to
you
that.
started.
Yes, and then later on checking, we realized that Hago is also an acronym for "Have a Good One."
Wow.
So it just
So it just blended.
it just
So
blended.
it's more like a divine, the divine
Right,
name that
yeah.
was selected without you even knowing.
Exactly.
So how did you leave your permanent work? So at what point did you say, I am done now? I think I want to pursue this business fully and I would no longer be in the career path.
Okay, that was in 2016. So in 2016, I had just gone through a season, and I felt like, okay, you know what, I'm done. And not because the work was the cause for the season, but at that point I felt, you know what, I'd rather just put in all my energy doing what I love, right? So I'm sure you're wondering what season was that.
I'm going to ask, what's the season? Because, I mean, our viewers here they don't want to hear all the nice stories. They want to
Yes.
hear what
So
the issues that you had, the challenges.
Okay.
What happened? What changed the game for you?
All right. So I got married in 2014.
Okay.
End of 2014. 2015, mid-2015, I got pregnant. I was pregnant with twins.
Twins?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot
Yes.
to
So
start.
towards the end of 2015, I lost them.
Huh?
Yes. I lost the twins.
The two of them?
Yeah, both of them. During pregnancy, I was about maybe 5 or 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a season.
Yeah, it's a
It was-
serious. I'm so sorry for that.
Thank you.
It must have been quite traumatic then.
It was then, but we're healed
But
now.
God has
Yeah.
seen you through it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. So, that was a season. And even though at that time I didn't feel I was stressed with work or anything, at that point I just said, you know what, why should I delay? So actually, when I found out that we're going to have twins, I knew that, it was going to be a lot
Too
of
much,
motherhood,
yeah.
having to work, take care of two babies and all. So I had actually already planned that, okay, after we have the twins, I was just going to resign so I could focus fully on the kids, and then now
Do your side hustle at your
now
own pace.
do my business at my pace. But when that happened, it was almost like, okay, you know what, this happened. Am I going to continue working? I can as well just go ahead to do what I wanted. So I didn't want what happened to stop.
be the
to
reason
stop
why
me.
you will stop your dream.
Exactly. So went ahead. In between, after that, another brand actually came up. It wasn't even immediately the Lery Hago. Another brand came up called Babies 21.
Yeah.
Babies 21.
Your company.
Yes.
Okay.
So another brand came up, and simply it was an e-commerce platform where a mother could get everything they needed for their babies without stepping out of their house. Okay. So I realized that, a lot of pregnant women will want to, they're heavily pregnant, but they want to be going to the markets, going to stores. I'm like, you don't need to do all of that. Just go on our platform, on our website, order for everything you need for yourself, for your baby from newborn to 3 years, and we'll have it delivered to you.
So how did that business go?
It went well, actually.
Is it still going?
No, it's not. We stopped it because there were a lot of logistics issues.
At that time?
At that time, in terms of there were a lot of, and then logistics, fares, prices just kept skyrocketing. So what
years? Because now everything is online, everything is being done. So it means that we didn't have the proper network and structure as we have now. Because I'm sure you noticed that it's 2020, the COVID-19 that actually built our entire logistics structure across Nigeria as a necessity. more of a necessity than what we even wanted to do.
Before. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So another reason, actually, I won't even say just the logistics. Another reason is at that time, remember, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Yeah. So at that time, there were several businesses. So it got to some point where, okay, we decide, okay, we will focus more on this, and just let this lay low for some time. Yeah. Prioritize this. So we got to a point where we decided that we were going to prioritize the travel company, because we saw that to actually grow and gain market share, it needs a lot of focus, it needs a lot of strategy and all. And while doing that, it was hard combining that with so many other things, and also with a growing family as well.
I know. Yeah. The children, for a woman, the children is actually a major factor. So tell me, aside from, you shared a very personal story with us here, and I'm sure we really felt really bad about it. But we know that with God's grace, we will move forward, and He will heal us. And you've been healed, and you've moved forward. So with all that, when you're starting the business, especially the Lery Hago business, did you have any challenge, starting off from the beginning? Because I know even in the Nigeria space, you can see a lot of issues, problems, maybe tax authorities, raising funds. Did you have fund issues? Any of those issues that are peculiar to the entrepreneurs? Okay,
yes. So for Lery Hago, when we decided to fully position and go into it fully, there were issues of funding and all of that. But how I went ahead with all of that is getting help. I have a great support system. First of all, my husband is a great support system. My family, my parents, my siblings, and then even my in-laws are great support system. So most of the time, I usually hear, and then, people always say that most of the time what you need is within your reach. What you need, people sometimes think that, they need millions to start a business. Of course not. Most times you don't even need anything. Any fund. You don't need one naira. You just need your what you need is, to sit down. Yes. So, most times when people think, oh, did you need money? Like when we started, we didn't need any money actually. Initially, we thought we needed, but when we actually sat down and started, we didn't need any money.
Everything's online.
It's online. So what we needed to do was to curate an experience and then put it out there, market it, talk about it, and then gradually people start coming up. Another thing also when starting a business is consistency. Because if you start today and you feel like, everybody's going to start coming to buy today, that's a mistake. Yes. You have to consistently show up. You can't just show up today and nobody watched, nobody came, and I give up. No. You have to consistently show up. Our first group trip in 2018, I had consistently advertised that over and over and over and over again before the first person came. And then, the first person came and said, oh, hope I won't be the only one on the group trip. I said, no, not at all. We are going to be at least 10 on this group trip. And at that time, you didn't have anybody. At that time, that was the first person.
So that was it. If you're enjoying this episode already, I want you to take a moment to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your aha moments in the comment section below. We would love to engage with you. Okay, let's get back to the show. So that was a word fate. Of exactly fate.
So at that time, that was it's also, and the person was worried because I'm going for a group trip. I don't want to be alone, right? So he said, no, not at all. You're not going to be alone.
And that would help you to know that you had to get the others.
And I'm like, okay, I need at least 9 more people. And the second person came, said the same thing. Oh, I hope I won't be alone at all. You're not going to be alone. She paid. And then like that. And at the end of the day, we had 11 people.
Oh, 11?
11 people on the first trip. Yeah. And, it went well. So, yes, in business, challenges come. But I always see challenges as, a stepping stone
for greater things.
Yes, exactly.
And how did you bet the idea of curating these trips? Are you saying at that time when you started there were no other companies doing it? What was your interest with creating? Did you see a need? Did you see a gap? Was there something that informed that decision to choose creating? Because I think that's a big part of your own business.
Yes. So when we started, we just started as, okay, we're putting packages together, travel packages together to include flights, hotel, tours, airport pick-up and drop-off, visas if needed, and then we're just putting together. But after a while, we got to the realization that, see, we're actually not just a company. We don't sell flights. We don't sell, yes, flights is included in what we do. Hotel is included in what we do. But I tell people, that is not what we sell. What we sell is
the
experiences. The experience of you deciding that you want to go to Maldives tomorrow. And then you reach out to Lery Hago and say, hey, Lery Hago, I want to go to Maldives tomorrow. And all you have to do literally is pack your bags and go. You don't have to think about the tiny details. I mean, you've worked all through the year, all months, all week, you know, and you're tired. You want to go on a vacation. So why do you want to stress yourself thinking, okay, what layover is good? What flights should I book? Okay,
So
we'll
that's
do
the
all
headache
that.
that you take
Yes,
away
we
from
do
them.
all that for you. And then you get to the airport, a driver is waiting to pick you up, take you to your hotel, you know, take care of you, take you to your tours, bring you back, and all of that. So we sell experiences. And now, even in curating these experiences, we are particular about the tours. We pay a lot of attention to detail. So we give you tours based on your personal preferences. So we won't give you an adrenaline-filled tour when we know that what you want to do is sleep in the spa.
Exactly.
Right? So we won't tell you to go
So
zip
you
lining.
create it according to the
According to your
customer's
preference,
need.
yes.
That's
So
fantastic.
in curating experiences, that's what we do. And then you said there were so many other people,
Yeah,
you know, doing it.
companies
So
doing
what
it.
sets us apart? For us, what sets us apart is our customer service. So we pay a lot of attention. I, in particular, am very big on customer service. I'm very big on excellent delivery. Anything we're doing is we're doing well and excellently. And one thing that feedback I've gotten over and over again is, you know, especially when I speak to people on the phone and I've tried to transferred this to the team as well. They just feel at home. They just feel like, okay, Lery, take all my money. Like they just feel good. You're so calm. You're so good. You're patient enough to listen to, you know, everything we want to.
It's a big part of the kind of industry where you play. I mean, if you don't have customer service, you have no business in tourism in any way.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's an experience. An experience has to come with all the
from
sweetness.
From the phone call, the first phone call to the end. Right.
Beautiful. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
You've done a great job, I must say. So now, you've been doing all this, and you have your kids who are still very young, and they are going to, I mean, they still go to school and all. So how have you been able to do the work-life balance, or what's the secret for that?
All right. Number one secret is my husband.
You said you've called his name, so we must give him a round of applause.
Please.
He's been extremely wonderful.
Number one secret is him. He's such an amazing support system even in the home front. He's very hands-on, and it's just like we're in a partnership, in a marriage partnership. So in our home, there's no, this is your role, this is my role. We're working together. So times where I have to work, he's covering up for me. Times where he has to work, I'm covering up for him. I don't have to bother my head about school runs every time because he's handling that, especially when I need to work. And even, I mean,
So you just have somebody that is a true partner.
Yes, a true partner. Aside that, because, you know, with kids and with more kids, you know, there's more more house chores and all. So I also have domestic help as well. Because, you know,
what of your family? You also have a good family.
Yes, of course, my family, my parents, my siblings, they're always there to support as well.
Well done. Well
done.
So
all of that, you know, when it seems like one is looking like a superwoman, I'm not a superwoman at all. I have a great support system around me.
Definitely. Yeah. And now we're going to be real. This is 2024.
Right.
With all the negative forecasts, with inflation rates very high, now currently 29.2%. How is your business thriving? How are you able to make ends meet? How are you able to sell? I mean, people are looking for food to eat. Are people looking at curating, I mean, looking at taking
traveling.
tours and traveling and curating packages for them? Because it costs money. Then one of the greatest factors that will affect your business, the price of dollars.
Yeah,
how
forex.
are you managing your business truthfully? Because I'm sure a lot of our viewers here who run travel agencies, and some of them are getting bankrupt, some of them are folding up,
Right.
some may be thriving or just maybe managing. So how are you able to keep up with the economy?
All right. So to be honest, you know, there are a lot of challenges come up every single day. In short, in one day, several challenges come
Exactly.
up. Right. So to be honest, a lot of challenges come up. But my worldview in life, and something I've always held on to, is I'm not discouraged by challenges. However, I'm actually inspired to do more when challenges come. So when there is a challenge, I always look for a way out of it. There is
solution.
always a
The
way out of
solution,
it. There's
yes.
always a solution. And one of the, you know, mantras I hold on to dearly: heads we increase, tails we multiply. All things are working together for my good. So no matter the policies that come up, no matter what the government says, no matter the
Economy
dollar rates,
rates,
okay, whatever it is, that's
They are
fine.
working
But
together.
heads will increase, tails will multiply.
Yeah.
Now, I'll take
But
it
we
back.
make it very practical, because we
Yes.
need to hear practical solutions.
Exactly. So I'm going to take it back to an example, right? In 2021, you know, from like 2018 to 2021, our most traveled, our most requested destination was Dubai.
Yes.
Everyone wanted to go to Dubai. Everybody, you know, Dubai. So we're doing a lot of Dubai. And we're not really doing a lot of other destinations.
Yes.
And then 2021
The
came,
ban.
and then there was a ban.
Yeah.
There were several bans before the final
ban. Yes.
Right? So in 2021, there was a ban. And at that point, I mean, we could not be out of business. So we needed to think, okay, at that point,
Think outside
we
the
started pushing other countries and all that. So it was a literal example of heads we increase. If they don't ban us, we
Yes,
increase.
uh-huh.
If they ban us, we multiply.
Right.
So for me, it was a literal example for me,
Yes.
because it just
So you
gave us
open
more
other
opportunities.
markets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We opened up other markets. You know, we're able to sell other products that were not particularly what we had been doing before. And then when you talk about the exchange
Yes,
rate
the
and
forex
all,
now.
the forex, in last year, 2023, after everything became really volatile, we then decided, you know what, everything that we're paying for is in dollars. So we're going to price in dollars. Because at some point it was a challenge, you know,
They're
give...
changing naira.
Yes,
Then in your hands, it becomes devalued.
Yes, exactly. And then apart from that, you know, you have given someone an invoice today, and then they want to pay tomorrow. But tomorrow the price is
changes,
different.
yeah.
So we give our invoice in
Dollars.
because we know that,
Then you
okay, the
can-
rate
you
is
can
still the
manage
same.
the-
So at that time, if they want to pay in naira, fine, but they'll just pay at the current rates. Yes, it might have seemed like, okay, how were people getting money? The truth is that there is money.
See money in Nigeria.
There is money.
I like that.
There is-
There's money in
There is
Nigeria.
money,
Are you
actually.
hearing
It
that?
just depends on what you
You-
see. What do you
Exactly.
see? Do you see lack or you see plenty?
Plenty.
I see plenty.
Plenty. And
There
you
is
and you
money.
gravitate towards the
Exactly.
plenty.
Exactly.
Nothing else.
So, and generally we...
So there's no downtime actually. It may be there, but
yeah, it
you
may be
just
there, but
arrange.
we
you
look past
strategize.
it.
Yes.
We look, so
Past.
there might be an obstacle here, but we look over it. We don't even focus, on it. So, and as business owners, you know, as entrepreneurs, we always have to speak
So
positive.
your revenues don't really go down. You just readjust yourself.
We just readjust. So I'm not saying, of course, there are times of the year where, you know, sales are low and all that, but we don't remain, we don't maintain that vibe. Our vibe is always happy. Our vibe is always, there is plenty,
Yes.
right? And that plenty is coming to us. So, you know, as entrepreneurs, we always have to be positive. We always have to motivate ourselves. Because if we don't motivate ourselves, who will?
Who will do that?
Who
Yes.
will? We always have to motivate ourselves.
You know, I said to you that from the day I met you, you've always been somebody who has this positive vibe. Forget entrepreneurship. I always see you as a very bubbling spirit. You're very, very positive. And anytime I say business, it's always, and you don't say the usual like normal answer. Oh, it's good. The way you will say it, it's really good. And I know that answer doesn't really translate that it's so good that the money is all over the place, but you always have that positive mindset.
Right.
And I think that's what you're explaining now, and I think it's really, really fantastic. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs really need to learn that thing, that there's always downtime, there are always going to be problems, but
Yes.
if you look at the problems too much, you may never see a solution.
Yes.
And just as you said, the problems actually give you a multiplier effect.
Exactly.
If
And
we
even
see
in
that
those
way,
problems,
yes.
you learn. Some problems come for you to learn
learn
something
and be stronger
also.
for
To
the
be
next thing that's
exactly.
coming.
Exactly.
That you'll be well equipped for
issues
it.
we've had that there were things we needed to learn, and we learned and we moved. We moved.
Interesting. So now with your experience, yes, 6 years, some people say it's not too long, but you have tested time, you're still there and you're staying strong. I mean, I think the cut-off period for a very good business or a business that will thrive is 5 years. And you've crossed to 6 and going into 7 and more. So now, you've been in the business space. What would you advise the young entrepreneurs and even those in business? Because I've noticed that Almost Couch Show is really not just for people who are upcoming. I have a lot of friends who are my age who have been in business for 10 to 20 years who say, I watched the show and I got this tip from one of your guests, I got that tip from one of your guests, and it really helped me. So what would you advise all our viewers, whatever level they are at, in their business, and even if it's even their career, what are the things that they need to do or the skills they need to have, whatever dimension, any way you want to look at it, let's advise them.
All right, thank you. So I will say 3 things. Let me look at the viewers.
Yes.
I will say 3 things. 3 things that are very key to me, that are very dear to me. Number 1 is excellence. Everything that we do must be excellence. Excellence is what stands us out from every other person.
Definitely.
You know, you mentioned, there's so many people doing this. Well, I don't know. The truth is, I don't even
Look
check
at
what they're
them.
doing. I don't know.
Which is
I
good.
just focus on what I am doing and do it excellently
Really
well.
well.
Because when kings are looking for people, they look for excellence.
Yes.
And we're out to serve kings, so we have to be excellent. Another thing is consistency. You know, we will not blow in one
Overnight,
day,
yes.
overnight. Rome was not built in a day.
Yes.
So no business will become successful overnight. You need to be
Exactly.
consistent. You need to keep going at it daily. You need to keep going at it day and night, right? And at some point, you will get to where you're going, and then you keep moving forward. Another thing I would like to say is passion. Passion is very dear to me. Anything worth doing is, and it's tied a bit to excellence, anything worth doing is worth doing well. You need to put your whole mind in what you are doing.
Yes.
If you're not going to put your heart in it, there's no point doing it. Right? So,
because those trying times too,
yes.
if you are not passionate about it, you will give up.
You'll give up, exactly. So you need to be passionate about what you are doing. You need to put your whole mind in it. And being passionate about something means that you're going to keep learning, you keep researching, you keep getting
Building.
better at your skill, you keep building skill, building character.
Capacity,
It's all boils down to being passionate. Because you're passionate about your business or even your career, you are able to learn more, you're able to improve your skill and get better at it daily.
Definitely, definitely. Very well said. I couldn't have said it even better. I mean, it's something, I think you're working with all the principles. I mean, if you ask me, I think you're working with the best principles you can even imagine in terms of entrepreneurship. One, of course, they talked about the passion, but even aside from the passion, that attitude that you don't always look at problems, but you look at the solution, and you intentionally never bother yourself too much. I mean, I'm sure as a human being, you bother. I mean, when the issues come, but you don't dwell on it.
Yes.
That's different. You look at it as something that you can actually solve and create more opportunities. And I think that is really fantastic. And a lot of people who are doing some businesses now, they come to me, they've just started 1 year, 2 years, they have some challenges and they want to already give up. And you can tell even from the way they talk. And sometimes when you see them through some of the discussions, you find out that they actually have a good business idea. They actually have a good business product, a product that they want to sell or a service they want to sell that's really, really good and even viable. But that patience, not having that patience to see and persevere and resilience to see it through is also something that really hinders them And I think your story is one beautiful story that shows all that. And keep on doing the good work. And I'm sure we're going to, I mean, you're already in the global space, so we're going to hear even far more and more about you. But I've not stopped. We have more questions for you. Lery, reflecting on your journey, what has been your biggest setback, challenge that you've had so far in your business, whereby you say, I don't want to do this business anymore. You want to quit. So have you had those moments in your business? Join us on Omo's Couch, where inspiration meets action. If you are a remarkable entrepreneur or a career giant with a unique story to share, we want to hear from you. Become our guest on Omo's Couch and empower others with your journey, experiences, and valuable insights. Use the link provided in the description below to apply for yourself or nominate someone who deserves to be on this show. Let's inspire together.
Okay, I would say yes. I mean, every business has challenges.
Okay, you've been talking very sweet and nice. I never thought you would even say yes to that question.
I would say yes.
Okay.
So in 2020, there was lockdown.
Oh, yes.
There was COVID in 2020.
That's true.
So what that meant is that travel was on standstill.
Yes.
Right? And why it was even a major problem, not because people could not travel, but the major problem was just a month before lockdown, we had planned a massive group trip to Dubai then. We had planned a massive group trip. The target was about 50 to 100 people. We had contacted the airline. We had bought tickets.
Wow.
And we had paid for.
Wow.
We had not paid in full. We had paid a deposit to hold the tickets, right? So the plan was we'll pay a deposit. We even started marketing. So we started marketing. People were interested because we really got a good deal from the airline. So a lot of people started showing interest. We did some payment plan for people to start paying. Some people paid deposits. And then this trip was supposed to be for like in April during Easter. And then boom, in March, early March,
shut down.
There was lockdown everywhere. So, you know, first of all, it started in China. We're hoping, it's not going to just contain itself there. But it kept moving, it kept spreading. Everywhere started closing up gradually, and then got to Nigeria, closed up as well. And then, so that was the end. And now, one of the policies on group tickets is that when you pay a deposit, it's non-refundable. So, you know, immediately the lockdown was already getting to Nigeria. We had sent emails to the airline to say, hey, see, it's not likely that...
This is a force majeure.
Exactly.
Unexpected issue.
Exactly. So in short, before lockdown was declared, we already sent an email to the airline. It's not likely that people will be able to travel. Can we get a refund? They say, oh, no, it's not refundable.
Very funny.
Okay, wait, we took that. And then lockdown came again, we pushed again. We need to get a refund. Our clients are asking for their money back. And that took a long process. It was back and forth. And then, you know, but constantly I was communicating with the people involved, with the airlines and also with the customers involved who had paid.
Managing their expectations.
Yes, managing them. Oh, sorry, it's taking this long, but we're pushing to get your refunds from the airline. And you know why it was a setback in a way is that to pay that deposit, because it was a lot of money, to pay that deposit, we had gotten a loan. So we were paying interest on a loan that was not bringing anything.
Income back,
That was not bringing, because the plan was that that loan was just going to run for about 2 months, and we'll pay back the interest, and we're good, right? But
so
it ended up going...
As the time they were dragging the refund, your loans were still running at the same time.
The loans were still running because people had paid deposit, but their deposits were not they were just a small portion of the monies we had paid to the airline, right? So the loan was running, interest was building up on that, and we were dragging the airline for our refund. You know, the refund finally came, you know, several months after, right? Several, like at least 8 months after or 6 months.
Almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year after. It finally came, we're able to, you know, pay back the people who had paid deposits, but of course we still had the loan to pay because it had accumulated. So
are you saying the banks were not reasonable enough to knock off the interest rate, knowing that there were lots of things?
It wasn't knocked off.
It wasn't knocked off?
It wasn't knocked off.
You mean the interest rates were not knocked off by the banks?
No, they were not actually. The only thing they did was to extend the time frame of payment.
Why?
They didn't. It wasn't knocked off.
Even with this force majeure issue?
It wasn't.
You know what in law, when you say something is unforeseen, it means that these are things that should be exactly leverage.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So we had to, deal with that. And now, in that time, there was no income coming in at all. So if there was income, maybe there could have been.
You can be using it to offset.
But there was no income coming in. I mean, the other brands that I was running, I mean, some money was coming from that, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because people were not even shopping or buying anything at that period. Everybody just wanted to survive.
To survive. Though, even speaking on that, I noticed like in the air brand, for instance, we actually sold the most in that period in the air brand because people were joining online meetings and some people were just at home and like, oh, I just want to make myself happy. I just want to buy something that I like. So we sold in that, but then it wasn't really enough to offset that. I mean, eventually we were able to pay off, but it was... I mean, with more business, in 2021, places started opening up, countries started opening up, but then travel was still uncertain.
Yes,
and in that period, you'll be hearing things like, oh, adjusting to the new normal, the new normal. I was sick of that word, the new normal.
I can't imagine. I think COVID must have affected you more than any other person.
Yeah, so everyone was like, oh, adjusting to the new normal. I'm like, please.
Did you want to even fly anybody, knowing how bad people were dying all over the world?
Exactly, and then it was so uncertain. Yes. Nobody was sure of what's the new criteria to travel now? Do you need COVID vaccine? Do you need? So all of that was there. But one of the things that helped us because when there are situations like that, you can't just sit and do nothing. So when places within Lagos started opening up, resorts in Lagos started opening up. We started arranging day hangouts. Wow. So we did our first
You're really innovative. Like, you don't sleep, you just have to keep continuing to innovate.
We have to keep moving. So we had our first vacation on October 1st. Independence Day, everybody was tired of staying at home. Yeah. So we put together a package, a vacation, a bus that was going to transport people from mainland, from island to the beach resorts. Have fun all through the day, play, dance, have fun.
And this was open air.
And open air. And then, though we still had to wear face masks anyway. So, but people jumped at it. People jumped at it because at that time everybody was just
by October, and that's why there was a surge again in the pandemic. People who were affected because from October, November,
people started coming out.
By December, January, people started dying again. It was a rise.
So it was this thing. So while we were waiting for international places to open, we had to be creative with what can we do within what can we do that does not require people to fly or board a plane. And so we did a number of vacations within Lagos. We did a number of staycations within Lagos as well. And, we're able to get some income from that. Not much, but
nice names. Staycations. Were these coined out from you, or these words?
No, well, not from me. I'm sure someone coined it.
Before?
Yes.
Okay.
People call staycation.
Staycation, yes, but vacation, that's quite strange.
Yes, but I mean, people have called it that, so just picked it up.
Interesting. Well done.
Thank you.
So can you share a specific instance where you had to navigate a difficult personal challenge that almost affected your business, and how did you manage it?
So I'm thinking, I'm really thinking. I know there are times where, I feel like, oh, I need to spend more time with my kids, with my children. So for instance, my third boy, there was a point I felt like, oh, he doesn't even know me because I'm always working.
So you're feeling guilty.
So at times like that, I intentionally try to stay away from work. When I mean try to stay away from work, like delegate to other people, the team, delegate to other members of the team, oh, do this, and then just try to create time so that sometimes I'll say, okay, after, this particular time in a day, I will not be working anymore, so I could just be there and play with them, even though sometimes it could be tiring. But in terms of a major challenge, I can't really think of, nothing is coming to mind now. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the future for Lery Hago? What do you see it becoming in the next 5 to 10 years?
So generally speaking, there are some specifics, but
yes, you don't have to tell us your trade secrets.
Yes, so generally, I see Lery Hago as in number one, number one in everything luxury travel. Yes, there are a lot of great brands, but we see ourselves as a top player in the industry, providing luxurious travel experiences for people.
Okay,
that's what we say.
So it's more like you're still propelling your vision.
Yes.
Because I know that's one of your vision, to be one of the top players
Yes.
and global player.
Yes.
Interesting. So how would you see true life lessons would you share with our viewers who are watching you today as to how can they start a business, maybe a travel business? How can they start it? What are the tips? Just give some useful tips and real tips that they can actually lash into and use to grow their business or start a business in the travel industry.
All right. So I would say to start a business, be it in the travel industry or in any other industry at all, there are things that are very key. First of all, you have to gain knowledge.
Yes.
You have to research. You have to gain knowledge. Now, this knowledge could come from formal education. It could come from you going online. There are a lot of resources online that you can learn. You need to, and then you could also learn from people who are already doing it. People who are already there. They could be mentors. They could be people who have, written books that you can buy. Now, as much as possible, if you can afford to buy knowledge, you buy it, right? And then you search out knowledge. So sometimes you can buy knowledge with your money, but even if you don't have a lot of money to, pay for courses or stuff, another way of buying knowledge is the time that you spend in researching. So, for instance, when I first started travels, I didn't know about many of these destinations. And to sell a destination, you need to know the destination.
Yeah.
When I was selling destinations, there were destinations that we sold that I had never been to. But when I speak to the clients on phone, it's like I'm living there.
Exactly.
They literally
do you know what
ask
that
me,
means?
are you
Do you
there
know
right
what that
now?
means? But do you know what that means?
Yeah.
You are a good salesperson. It's a skill. Sometimes they say, is it born or is innate? I don't know. But
I don't know.
I think, or acquired. For me, I think it's innate. If you have it, you have it. The only thing you can do is to hone it and
But
get
you
it
can
better.
improve and get
on
better.
it. Yes. Some people have it. For you to say that, it means that you are a real, I don't want to use that word. I want to say something that's not PG rated.
Okay.
So you're a real band salesperson. And I think that you could see that from your trajectory, from being a 6-year-old who already had the passion for sales. Even when you're 10 years old, you also exhibited that. 20 years old, and you've carried on till now. It's a passion that it doesn't leave you. I tell people that for me, I love to sell. And it gives me a high. I don't know if you understand it.
Yes.
It gives me a high, and that high is, if once I've gotten a new client, it's like, I'm done. I'm going for the next one. I'm going for the next one. I'm going for the next one. And I think that's something that a very good salesperson should have. Because if you focus on the one you have acquired, you get so complacent. You just be like, oh, I've gotten it. No.
Yes.
And my workers, on my team, they always say this, and right from time, even the old employees I've had, they say, why is it that whenever we win a job, I don't seem too excited or something? I never noticed that about myself. It took me a while to sit back to reflect and say, what are they really saying? I told them, oh, no. I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely happy. But once I've gotten it, it's gone. It's done. I'm moving on to the next excitement. I'm moving on to the next conquer. I want to conquer something new.
Right.
And that's the next high for me. So I can't dwell on the old one. And I think it has actually helped me to build fast. Build more than being complacent.
You can't just wait.
Yes, I can't wait.
You have to make
the
things
next
happen.
one.
You have to keep moving.
And I think it's a very good trait for an entrepreneur. If you don't have that, it will be quite challenging. Some people just say, oh, you just make comments, you're very lax. It doesn't really add up.
Speaking of selling, another thing that goes hand in hand with selling is marketing.
Yes.
You need to talk about what you do. You need to put yourself out there. If you're doing something and I don't know about it, then there's no chance that I'm going to ever patronize you or do anything. And then one thing that that has always shaped my actions is that I always say an opportunity taken. So if you give something a try, or if you propose okay, let's say selling. If you sell someone to, or you propose a sale to someone,
Yes.
they either say yes or they say
Say
no.
no.
So you have a 50% chance of getting a yes. But you have 100% no's for something that you did not talk about.
Exactly.
So when you do not put out something, an opportunity that you have not tried, you have 100% no. But if you try it, yes, it
You
could
still have a
succeed.
50%
Yes,
chance, yeah.
or no, it could not. But at least you tried it. And
yeah.
when you try it, you also learn
Learning
how
and
to do it
building,
better.
yeah,
So if it's a
yourself.
no, the next time you know how to do it better.
Interesting. And that being said, you touched on marketing. There's something I noticed about your site, the Lery Hago site. It's very attractive. It's like you can actually like watch a movie within your pages, and people should go and look at it. It's really interesting, and it actually has informed my decision to say I want to try you one of these days, because I haven't, obviously. I'm going to try one of these days to see those packaged, curated events that you do for people, because I've seen a lot of people, they go on trips, they have good videos. I was going to ask you, what's the secret? How come they are able to capture all those clear pictures out there, put it on your page, and we can see they are real?
Yeah.
You know, so how do you do that? Because I'm sure people, because those are some of the tips that people really need to know, that if you not only saying it and people can visualize it, it actually brings it 360 to your customers.
Yes. So for our clients, many of our clients love taking pictures already.
So those are clients' pictures?
Yes.
Wow.
But, well, most of them are client pictures. At
They
least
should be,
90% of them are client pictures, and they love taking pictures already. And one thing I've realized about customers is when they are happy, they're ready to do anything for you. So when they have taken pictures and they're very happy with the service, and you say, oh, is it okay for us to? Because one core value that we have is confidentiality. Before we will put out any picture, we would have gotten permission for that. We will not let out what we are not permitted to.
Definitely.
Right? So when we get the permission, oh, can we put this on our pages? And they're like, oh, yes, I enjoyed my stay. You did an amazing job. Yes, go ahead. And then, you know, we use that. And then when people see that, they see travel is like a world of so many possibilities.
I know.
I mean, anything is
travel a lot
possible
now?
with travel. Well, I'm beginning to. So, you know, in the past 7 years, I've been taking care of children, bearing children and taking care of children. But it's something I am starting to now.
To start doing.
You know, because travel is actually very therapeutic.
Yes,
right?
it
just opens your mind to a lot of possibilities.
Therapeutic, rest. It's healing.
Yes.
It's also a way to really like unwind and be happy. I think it brings all the best things in people at the end of the day. I don't know anybody who travels and say, oh, I'm very sad. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Especially for a leisure trip. Then now my last question is, how do you stay motivated? Are you able to develop more and more programs, become innovative? Because the industry is very dynamic. So how do you stay motivated? How do you innovate yourself and change the dynamics and make sure that you're in the customer's face and people have things that will interest them at every point in time?
Okay. So how I stay motivated, first of all, I think I'm self-motivated.
Yes,
I think I am. And then aside that, in terms of innovation, I always look outside the box. I usually would tell, like now in the process of the first website we had designed and all, I always tell the web developer, if I can think about it, it's possible. Exactly. Or I want the customer to be able to see this or see that. So for me, that's innovation. If you can't tell me it's not possible. If I thought about it, it is possible. So now let's think about how to make it possible. Right, so in innovation, creating innovative and very nice experiences. I check a lot of things online. I watch videos, check out pictures, do some research, and from that I'm thinking, okay, this person did. Innovation is as little as in our first trip in 2018. Everybody was doing Dubai, right? And then I checked and I saw that okay, we could get a very good deal from Kenya Airways, and then. If we're going to fly Kenya Airways, we're going to have a stopover in Kenya. So why don't we do 2 nights in Kenya or 3 nights in Kenya and then have a combo trip instead of just Dubai? So one of the when we did that, that was, for me, it was an innovative product at that time. And that was also a marketing point, because we will now tell people, imagine you're going to 2 destinations for the price of one. You have only 1 week of work, and in that 1 week, you will visit 2 different countries. You have 2 different stamps on your passport. You will experience 2 different cultures, 2 different experiences for the price of just a little above one. Right? So that's innovation. So I think innovation comes about from thinking. Again, when you're passionate about something, you will be innovative.
You'll be birthing ideas.
You know, when you're passionate, you're always thinking about, what can I do to make this better? What can I do? And because you are always thinking of that, you will get it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us good insight into the travel industry. You've been very insightful. We've learned a lot from you. And I think your passion and your love for what you do resonates in all the discussions today. And I'm sure our viewers have heard a lot from you. So thank you very much. Now
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to the fun segment of this show. I'm going to be asking you a very simple trivia question. So I hope you're ready. You should not fail, though. You're a first-class brain, so don't fail this at all.
I hope so.
So my question goes like this. What is the biggest organ in the body?
Okay.
What is the biggest organ in the body?
Organ? I'm thinking. The lungs?
No, last try. I thought most people know this one. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
What is the biggest organ? The stomach.
Funny enough, it's actually the skin.
Ah!
Apparently, the skin is an organ. Yes, if you have heard it once, you actually know it for sure.
Yes,
anyway, you're a mathematician, not a medical person, so I will permit you for that.
Well, funny enough, I was a science student, but I cannot remember.
Are you serious? Okay.
Yes, but
well
okay.
done, well done. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really had an
I hope you had a wonderful time.
I did.
Good.
I did.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And well done too.
Thanks for watching Oma's Couch. I'm sure you're eager for another inspiring story. So click here to watch another episode or click here to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.